guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Timi Kenza James. Today I'm going to be taking you on basic skirt blog, on how to draft a basic skirt blog. So with this you can be able to cut most skirts, but from it you can create more skirt patterns and all. So but before we go into the video proper, please ensure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that whenever I upload new videos you'll be the first to be notified. So I'm going to be running you into the things we're going to be needing. We'll be needing a cardboard. You can use a pattern paper also. Normally it's supposed to be a pattern paper, but at the moment I'm where I can't find a pattern paper, so I'm going to be using a cardboard. We'll be needing a tape rule like this. We'll be needing any kind of ruler at all. A pair of scissors. It could be a smaller scissors, a paper scissors, any scissors at all will work. And then you'll be needing a marker. So you roll out. What we are doing here basically is marking 1 inch from the top of the cardboard paper or the pattern paper, whatever you're using. So the measurements we are going to be working with is the waist that we are working with here is 26, and the hip we are working with is 36. Then we are going to be using the entire length of the cardboard. So here is what we do. First off, we determine from this side is going to the ruled side is going to be the waist side, and this side would be the down part of the skirt. So we are going to be taking the distance from the waist to the hip that we'll be using is 9 inches. So from the waist to the hip is 9 inches. We'll mark 9. We'll go ahead and mark 9 towards the end because we are going to be ruling it into a straight line. We mark 9 from the beginning of the skirt, and then we rule it into a straight line like this. Mind you, this cardboard is assumed that is folded in two, meaning we are working on 1/4 of the entire body. So whatever we're getting here, just imagine that this is on fold. So if you're drafting this directly on a fabric, you would have to fold the fabric into two, and then you use the folded side. So just write on fold, so that it will help you to remember that the fabric is supposed to be folded into two. So the waist we are working with is 26 inches. So we are going to be dividing 26 into 4. You divide 26 by 4 since we are working with 1/4 of the entire measurement completely. So it's 6.5. You mark your 6.5 like this. Then the hip we are using is 36. Also the hip we are going to be marking 36 divided by 4. You mark it like this, 36 divide by 4, which is 9 inches. So you mark your 9 inches like this. At the edge of the fabric here, where the downside of your cardboard, you're going to mark whatever your waist is. Since it's going to be a pencil skirt, you're marking your waist plus 1 inch if it's a pencil skirt. But if it's a straight skirt, you're going to mark your hip. The same measurement you use for your hip is what you're going to be using here. But I want this skirt to be a pencil skirt, so I'm going to be marking the same thing that I got on my waist plus 1, which my waist is 6.5 plus 1 is 7.5 inch. So here we go, 7.5 like this. Then you connect these lines. You connect from the waist, from the hip down to the length. You connect it. Then you connect from the waist to the hip. There you go. So the next thing we are going to be doing is we are going to be inserting our dart. To insert your dart, I'm going to be using your bust span. For this measurement, the bust span here usually should be around 6 inches or 7. So I'm going to be using 7 inches. So 7 inches divided by 2, since this fabric is on fold, is 3.5. So I'm adding the 3.5 here. Then I want my dart's length to be 5 inches. So I will mark 5 inches like this. Toward that, you're marking towards the hip line. It's not getting to the hip line, but towards there. Then you will check 3.5 inches to know the exact point where you're marking your dart. Then I'm going to be connecting this line, mark it into a straight line like this. Then I'm taking ½ inch on both sides. Put together, my dart is going to be 1 inch. So I'm taking ½ inch on this side, ½ an inch on this side. Then you connect it to this point here. You connect this ½ an inch to this point like this. You connect the other ½ an inch to that same point like this. And this is going to be your dart. What this dart is going to do for you is, it's going to, it gives a flattery look on the skirt. It will shape the waist side properly and give more room towards the hip line. That's what the dart does on this skirt. And meanwhile, every dart is like a debt. You would have to pay it over along this seam allowance side. So our dart is 1 inch. You're going to pay back this 1 inch towards the seam allowance. That's towards the side of your garment. So we are paying back this 1 inch here. So you're going to connect this 1 inch back to the hip line like this. And then this is going to be your basic pencil skirt block. But note that we've not added any seam allowances, so you can't just cut this and go and cut it exactly like this. So you can decide to add 1 inch seam allowance, ½ an inch, 1/4 of an inch, 2 inches, any 1 inch for seam allowance. So I'm adding 1 inch here. I'm adding 1 inch on the hip side, and I'm adding 1 inch on the extreme of the skirt, the base of the skirt. So I'm going to be connecting those lines. If you have a hip cuff, you can use it here. It will be more flattery, but I don't. That's why I'm using a ruler. You connect it like this. You try to find line here, just smoothing it out. Since we don't have a French cuff, you can just smoothen out that angle so that it doesn't come out pointed. So this is your basic skirt block. What you're going to do in cutting the back side is simply cut this, and then you get another cardboard, then or you put it directly on your fabric, and then you add another 1 inch at the back here or more for your zip allowance. But the back is just the same as the front. It's just that you will add your 1 inch or 2 inches, whatever you need for your zip allowance, you just add it to it. But the back is also the same as the front. It's just your zip allowance which you will add here on this part of your fabric, just for the zip allowance. I hope you understood what I'm saying. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and hit the notification bell. Thank you.